What's goody, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back at again with a brand new video. And today, I want to talk about something that happened just yesterday when Matt Rhule was officially announced, officially introduced. He had a whole press conference announcing that he is the new Panthers head coach. We saw David Tepper there. It was a whole big thing, and we saw and learned a lot from that press conference. It was only, like 30 minutes? Matt Rhule talked for about 20 minutes. We saw David Tepper talk for like 5 minutes, whatever. Some guys got introduced. But we learned a whole lot about Matt Rhule. And I think for everyone who watched that live on YouTube and everyone who watched the video afterwards and have heard about it, read about it, I think we all got a better picture about who Matt Rhule is as a coach, but even more importantly, who Matt Rhule is as a person, as a man. And I think that was probably his biggest selling point, who Matt Rhule is as a person. Now, we all know in these press conferences, whether it's before a game, before a season, or when a guy is getting introduced as the new guy, the new head guy in town, everyone's always going to say the right things. And there's like almost, it's not scripted, but you know, everyone has these things, these points they're going to hit. Everyone makes themselves sound the best possible way they can. But Matt Rhule came off extremely genuine. One of the first things he said, he was family first, work hard over everything. He said if you're going to be something, you got to be the best at it. And if you're not the absolute best out of everyone, be the best at what you're doing. So if you're an 8-8 team, be the best 8-8 team of all time. And that sounds kind of bad at first, but when you think about it, if you're going to lose games, at least be impressive in the things that you do. At least do the things you need to do the right way, and don't get beat by yourself. Now, we know this past season, there are a lot of baked-in excuses. You know, Cam obviously got hurt before the season even started. O-line play wasn't that great. The defense wasn't that great. A lot of things happened. But there were still some games, in spite of all that, where we beat ourselves. Other teams didn't 100% beat us. Matt Rhule is a guy who's going to come in here and say, look, everyone in this locker room takes responsibility for themselves. He says the process of doing something is just as important as that thing. So if you're doing a drill, you got to do it right. The way you walk to the field, the way you watch film and film session, all of that matters. All of that matters just as much as the thing you're actually doing. And that really impressed me. But what also impressed me was not just the things he said, because you know, when you're talking to people, they can say all the right things, but their way they say it don't really hit with you the right way. It don't really sound right when they're saying these things, because perception is everything and delivery is just about everything as well. This man, Matt Rhule, was motivating me. I'm sitting down watching on a computer screen. This man, Matt Rhule, is over here motivating me. The first thing you notice about this man in the first 5, maybe 10 minutes of him talking, the dude sound like a reverend. Everyone know who Rev Run is. We might have Rev Rhule on our hands over here. This boy sound like a minister. And then after the press conference, I looked it up. His dad was a Nazarene minister, which makes a lot of sense because this dude was preaching. Now, I'm going to keep it real here. At one point during this man's speech, I was thinking to myself, maybe I can go one-on-one with Cam Jordan. For this dude, for Matt Rhule, I might try 1 or 2 plays. I might get injured. I might go on IR real quick, but hey, if he tells me to do something like go one-on-one against Cam Jordan, I might have to go ahead and do it. And that was one of the more impressive things. You need a voice in the locker room. You need to connect with these players. You need someone these players are going to respect and hear and see that they're giving their best effort every single week. So everyone has to be held responsible for what they're doing. And that's all my general thoughts about what I saw from him, what I heard from him, the things, his body language, the things he said, the way he said them, all were very, very good. All were very important for a head coach coming in to Carolina, knowing the kind of job you're going to have to do here with this franchise. But I'll get to the actual questions he was asked. He was asked maybe like 5 or 6 questions. The first question he was asked was the obvious one. It was about Cam. Look, he's not going to give an answer about Cam. You're not going to hear an answer about Cam until it is 100% confirmed Cam is healthy. He just said, look, I talked to Cam, like that conversation. If he's healthy, we gonna rock with it. And, you know, I don't want to say too much right now, but, you know, from what I've seen so far in limited time here, I like Cam, and we're going to have to see where things go in the future. We haven't done too much, so I don't want to, you know, talk out of turn. And that's the smart answer to give. You don't want to come in here, start making a bunch of promises, and then have to walk back from them after a while. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. So I understand all that, and that was the right answer to give. The next question he was asked was about creating a winning environment out of a bad situation. And the first thing he said was, you have to identify leaders. Whether it's dudes in their first couple years or it's grizzled vets out there, you have to find out who the leaders are, who are the guys who can handle responsibility, who can handle being called out, and can control that locker room, not just the locker room, but the guys on the field. You ID those guys, put more on their plate, and they can help out, and they can be an example for everyone else, and they can help the team just by being themselves and by motivating other dudes. Because if they're going to work hard, everyone's going to work hard, and you can build around all of that. So I like that intro, and that really does make sense. You're going to war out there on the football field, and you need to find your generals out there. Then he was asked about being a college coach in the NFL, and he said, look, everyone's different. There are some guys who can't do it, some guys who can. I think I can do it. I was on that Giants team in 2012. Also, I made a mistake when I announced that Matt Rhule was a coach. I said he was on that Super Bowl team. That ring came in the Super Bowl that was in 2012, but it wasn't the 2012 season, if you get what I mean. So I made a mistake there. But he was still on that O-line staff that only allowed 20 sacks on the full season, making them the best O-line in the league. So you still gotta respect that 1 year of experience in the NFL. But overall, he said it right. There's some guys who fail, some guys who are going to succeed, but I think Matt Rhule can be that guy who can come in here and do something with his team, especially knowing he's not like under a bunch of pressure to make a bunch of quick decisions here on a 2-year, 3-year deal. He has 7 years on his contract, so he's not have to try to make snappy decisions that may or may not work out for us. He can build a team and then grow up to that level in the next 3-4 years. We'll see something out of him that we probably haven't seen out of a lot of college coaches transitioning to the NFL level. The next question he was asked was about staff acquisition, and there was also a question that was the very last question talking about staff experience. I'll bring them both together here. He says there were some guys at Baylor that he really likes, guys he worked with, and guys who have hit him up already after hearing that job. He said, hold up. Hey, Matt, you remember me, brother? Hey, we can work things together. We can probably find things. I got some talents. You got some talents. Bring me on your staff. He said people already have been hitting him up. So right now he's getting a feel for who he wants to have. He probably has a couple guys he already wants to have on the team. But he also mentioned that it won't just be friends of his, him doing favors for guys that he knows. It doesn't matter if a guy knows him or doesn't know him. If a guy can work and do the job, he wants him on the staff. But he also said that experience is important, like having a guy out there who has been in the league, who's been around, who can teach him the ropes, and can be kind of a mentor to him. He needs at least one guy like that on the staff. So he'll definitely find some guy who's a veteran in that capacity. I'm not sure exactly where that's going to be, but he did mention that having experience on his staff was a big point of emphasis for him, searching for the guys that he wants to help lead this team. Moving on to the next question, he was asked about why choose Panthers without other interviews. And then also after that, Joe Person asked a question about the Giants interview situation. We all know about what happened there, where he got offered the contract here from David Tepper, and then supposedly he called the Giants to see if they would match the offer as well, and that kind of became a big story, and people got kind of upset about that. But I promise you one thing right now, if I'm on the job hunt, and I know there's 2 different places that really wants me, the first place that offers me a job and gives me a contract and says, look, we can give you this amount of money, this amount of time, I'm asking the next person, can you do better than this right here? Can you match it? Okay, can you match it? All right, that's cool. But can you do better after that? I'm not going to lie to you. That's just how you negotiate your deals. If New York would have offered him $80 million, I have no problem with the dude wanting to go and say, hey, well, they offered me more. I'm going to get my money over there. If you've ever been in a negotiation situation where more than one party wants you, you check all your boxes. You have to look around. You have to find out who can offer you the best deal. I have no problem with the dude being about his money. I have no problem with the guy finding out who exactly wants him more, and it was just proving the Panthers want him more right now. So look, it's not a big deal to me. And he said the right thing. He said his agent talks to everyone. His agent had to call the Giants because there was a lot of news talking about the Giants might want Matt Rhule, and there's support the Giants did not want to match that deal. So whether it was Matt Rhule himself or his agent, it was a non-story to begin with. If you're negotiating for millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars for the NFL, you are going to check every single box. There's not a single person watching this video right now, Panthers fan or not, who's going to leave millions of dollars on the table for no reason. And I'm going to be real with you right now. I'm a Panthers fan for life. But if you ask me, do you want to make $60 million in North Carolina, or do you want to have $60 million living in New York City? Moving on to the next question. The next question he was asked was about the roster. He said he couldn't say that much because there's obviously a lot of guys on expiring contracts. We have the draft coming up. Some guys might get cut. Some guys might get re-signed, extended. We don't know what the roster is going to look like. This is his first day on the job. What's he going to tell you about the roster? What's this man really going to tell you about the roster? He really couldn't say much at all, so it is what it is. not much going there. And then he was asked about sustained success and back-to-back winning seasons. He said that long-term goals are always more important than short-term goals. Having an immediate gratification, microwave, snap of a finger kind of mindset to these kind of things does not make sense in the NFL. Give this man a chance, and I think he can build a culture here where we can have long-term success for a team that ain't never had a back-to-back winning season before. Can we get back-to-back winning seasons before we start talking about immediately going to the top and winning the Super Bowl next year? Great response from him, man. And just overall, I think the interview, the presser in general, really did show that Matt Rhule, although there were some questions about him, he seems like the kind of guy who can motivate players. He has the right mindset as a man and the right mindset as a football coach that I think can bring success to this Panthers football team for years to come. So, I mean, he's got my vote of confidence. I know there's some people out there in Panthers Nation who don't like him, but I mean, he's our coach right now, so we gotta stick with him, and he's the coach for 7 years too, so hey, you're gonna have to get used to this man or something. Overall, it was a really good presser, and it would have been a great presser if they hadn't ended it with a dancehall song by French Montana featuring Ray Srimmerd. I don't know what they thought. Why do you put Unforgettable as the, I don't know. It's kind of a small point, but you don't have a dancehall song at the end of a press conference for a football team. Then again, David Tepper walked out to Imagine Dragons, so it is what it is, man. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Matt Rhule. What are your thoughts on him? What are you expecting out of him? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.